Welcome to Festival Road Trip, a show highlighting the food, fun,
ಕಲ್ಲು ಮಣ್ಣುಗಳ ಗುಡಿಯೊಳಗೆ
and fantastic history that surrounds some of the world's most iconic film festivals.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the 8th Bengaluru International Short Film Festival.
Bags packed, visas cleared. We're heading to South India for the Bangalore International Short Film Festival. As far back as the late 19th century, Indian cinema has been a cultural phenomenon that has continued to grow into the thriving industry it is today. Brought to Mumbai in 1896, a representative of the Lumiere brothers screened a collection of short films to a mostly British audience in hopes of marketing their new technology. But it wasn't until 1913 that Indian movies found their own voice when Dadasaheb Phalke pioneered the format with the first ever feature-length film, Raja Harishchandra. Known as the father of cinema, Phalke would create an astonishing 95 feature-length movies and 27 short films in just 19 years of his career. His work was so influential that in 1969, the Indian government would create one of the most prestigious film prizes to date, the Dadasaheb Phalke Award, given as a lifetime achievement prize to film personalities throughout the country. Clearly, Phalke set a precedent as India has constantly celebrated hard work done fast. Over the years, that mantra has clearly paid off as almost 2,000 films were produced in 2017, and the country holds the title for biggest ticket sales in the world. Selling just under 2 billion tickets a year, it beats both China and America, and it's easy to see why. From the big budget Bollywoods to the award-winning independent cinema, both their features and shorts have something for everyone. In an effort to spread awareness of this content, the Bangalore International Short Film Festival was set up in 2010.
We were sitting having drinks one night and I proposed this idea to Prakash saying that we need to create a platform because the filmmakers are not getting any help.
So here we are, 3 or 4 drinks down, and Anand pops this idea, says, why don't we do an international short film festival? And I could have said at that moment, are you really crazy? Why don't you go home and slip this off? But I think sometimes this is the real use of alcohol. I'm thinking this is a great idea. So let's do this.
What happened is we were getting a lot of filmmakers inviting us to watch the films, and most of the time it was either the family and friends coming and showing the films, and everybody was praising the film even though it was a bad film. Then we realized we need somebody else telling them that the film has problems, there are issues here, the challenges are there. So we thought when we create a platform for an audience, the audience can be the third voice and the filmmaker will get a good feedback and he can improve as a filmmaker. So the drink went into kind of a program, the program became a festival, and today you see what's happening.
So that first year, when we planned this, we thought we'll get maybe half a dozen to 10 films, but we got 30 films from all over India. And we screened those films over a whole day. And the next day, we said we'll discuss the films. And all the team stayed. They came here. So we had a really like a throbbing audience there in the hall for the screenings as well as for the discussion. And we knew we were on something really good.
What we realized is there's a lot of international people who are coming into Bangalore because Bangalore is the Silicon City of Asia, and a lot of IT people come to Bangalore. A lot of them are passionate about films. And today, being cameras being cheap and all this technology being cheap, everybody can afford it because of the salaries they get. And weekends they want to become filmmakers. And a lot of them are turning from being engineers to filmmakers slowly. And because of this huge diaspora of professionals who have money and time to make films, it becomes a hub for filmmakers. The ones in Bombay are making feature films, but I think for short films with this limited time, I think Bangalore becomes a great hub for this, and the space what we are giving them, it can help them in that way.
As Anand mentioned, Bangalore is the technical hub of the country. So much so, it is also known as the Silicon Valley of India, due to its role as the nation's largest technology exporter. And one thing is clear, the impact of this metropolis has influenced a lot of attendees. Almost every filmmaker we met had a background in MIT, only to give it up for their love of cinema.
I'm a short filmmaker from Bangalore. I'm also working in an IT company so that I can fund my short films by myself.
So right now I'm an independent filmmaker, so trying to be. I actually did my engineering and I was working in an IT company, and then I quit that job because it was not my cup of tea.
I've been an engineer for the past 20 years. When I was stepping into engineering, I think it was a time when IT boom had happened in India and all over the world. So it was the next flashy thing. It was something cool, something good-looking offices, and something fancy to do. I think most of us got sucked into that, and that's what happened to me also, which was, I think, it gave me that structured sense of mind which you need when you're making an independent feature, because every department has to be in place, do its thing on time, on schedule. So I always felt that going to studying engineering was a waste of time because I'm more artistically bent. But finding out otherwise, it's great to do a more professional vocation so that you get that discipline to do something, to follow your dreams, to put things in action. And now there has been a burning desire to do something different. There's been an inner calling.
One former engineer turned filmmaker is Ajay Sarpeshkar, who is showcasing his first feature film, Mysore Masala, through a unique marketing campaign called a poster release, a press event consisting of stills from a director's new film which has yet to be completed.
The event today is the first poster release. The press is going to be here, the cast and crew are here. Also a little teaser that we're going to release. It's like giving birth to a baby, and you showcase your baby for the first time to the world and say, hey, this is it. This is the name and this is how it looks like. And so I'm here today for my first feature film. It's called Mysore Masala, and it's a science fiction film. What happens if a UFO crashes in India instead of it always crashing in the West? How did the short films help me make a feature film? I think credibility as a filmmaker. People had seen my work, people had seen who I am, what I could do in a very small budget. So I think when I wanted to make my first feature film, it wasn't that easy, but it was relatively easy for me to approach people and ask for money. I got a lot of investors who had seen my work, who believed in me. You have to be a people person. You have to be able to put your strong emotions aside and understand and be empathetic to other people's needs. That's very important for a filmmaker, because at the end of the day, they're working for you. They're working to realize your vision, and you have to be thankful and grateful for them putting their needs aside and doing what you want. The importance of short films in the industry is that it's an incubator for good filmmakers, good technicians. It's a huge enterprise making a feature film. So a lot of people have burnt themselves trying to do something. They've lost a lot of money, they've lost a lot of friendships and relationships. I think before people jump into that, I would suggest people have to make short films. It gives them the flavor of what's coming.
Speaking of flavor, besides the booming film culture, there is another prominent element to Bangalore that we can't overlook. And that's the food. Down every road are numerous market stands packed full of colorful fruit and mouth-watering dishes that you can't help but try. And if you ask the locals what Bangalore does best, they'll tell you it's the masala dosa. Made from fermented batter and potato stuffing, many forms of the dish have been around since the 1st century. But if you truly want the best version of the dish, then look no further than Mawali Tiffin Room, or MTR for short.
Since 40 years, MTR customers. Daily I will come.
Founded in 1924 by three brothers, the company has now opened numerous chains, expanding as far as Malaysia and Dubai. Now that we've eaten, we're going to take a quick break. But don't go anywhere, because when we return, we'll learn more about the country's bustling film industry and take a deeper look at what this unique festival has to offer. Welcome back to Festival Road Trip, highlighting the best talent and films that India has to offer. And it's impossible to mention the great work this country offers without highlighting the unsung heroes known as Foley artists, a role within the industry that creates sound effects to enhance audio quality in films. Two of the most prestigious Foley artists within India are Sajjan Chaudhary and Karnail Singh, who have been dubbed the Sultans of Sound for working on over 2,000 films.
Foley is the creative work, We have to do all the activities which is going on the screen. So we have to create each and every sound. So we love Foley and we love creative work. Foley is a very important part of the film, like rustling, tapping, footstep, and all the body movements. So we have to create each and every sound again and again.
Because we tried several peoples, but they are not interested. We are always behind the screen and our titles are always
Little late.
So nowadays people want their name to be in the front, beginning, and they have no patience. So that's why people are not interested in this. Foley artist has to be very sensitive and observations, recollecting the sound and creating.
We are always observe my home, my wife, what she's doing in the kitchen, what she's doing in the hall, what she's doing in the bedroom, something. And all the activities we are follow, her bangles, her walk, footstep, her clothes. Observe is a very important thing. Every film is challenging for us. We are very much used to with the Foley, but every sound, every film, every character, so we face like a challenge. And Mr. Karnail Singh is a master of ladies, accessories, bangles, jewelries, and I like action scene. I love action scene.
Every time ready to fall, and he likes action.
I love action. You can choose anything and make the sound ta 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 ta. I would like to say satisfaction is more important. Each and every sound. His satisfaction, my satisfaction, and behind the guys is satisfaction. All the three people's chemistry is one. If he's not happy, I'm not happy. Our satisfaction is our passion.
After meeting that last duo, let's head back to the Bangalore International Short Film Festival and meet another talent working in the film industry. Programmer Srinivasa Santhanam is a key member of the festival as he picks which short films screen at this year's event and is also a jury member for the Indian competition.
I enjoy watching others' film and appreciate their work. Whether I have my meal or not, I must watch at least 2 feature films or some 7 or 6 short films. I go to my bed around 1:30, 2 o'clock because right now I don't have any commitments because both my daughters are married, settled in life. So that's it. I love watching films, however bad it is. I visited more than 36 film festivals so far. So watch the film, recommend the films for the festivals in India, that's it. And I take the best film which is suitable for an Indian audience. We do have a kind of taste for different countries. So I choose a film for my audience from a particular country. The content is very important. I'm not worried about the production value. The content should be good, whether it has been done grammatically well or not. My advice to the young filmmakers, please watch a lot of other countries' film. You should watch them. Don't confine to your Indian filmmakers. You go outside, bring them, watch them, understand what the world wants. See, really, the main content is they want to know your culture. Why Cannes wanted to have a film from me is they want to have whether I am representing my culture properly or not. It's like reading a literature. But most of them, they are say when you take most of the commercial films, they don't stick to the grammar and they don't show our culture. What is happening in the commercial films is not our culture at all. That's a tragedy. Fortunate enough for me to be here as a part of the jury member for the Indian section. They asked me to watch 17 films. We saw those films. There is a 3-member jury in total. The opinion of the jury is almost similar. There is a variation that is only very, very minute. It's not a big difference. We discussed, deliberated, and we have come to a conclusion to present the awards.
Now that Srinivasa and the other jury members have handed out the awards within the Indian competition, let's speak to first prize winner Sumant Bhatt about his short Nerelu.
It's about a small town boy who looks up to a film personality who is a superstar of yesteryears, and how a small incident that triggers the whole emotional turmoil inside him. This obsession to films and film stars, what could it lead to?
ಎಲ್ಲಿವರೆಗೂ ಓಡ್ತೀಯೋ ಕಾಲ್ಯ? ನಾನು ನಿನ್ನ ನೆರಳಿದ್ದಂಗೆ. ನೀನು ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋದ್ರೂ ನಾನು ನಿನ್ನ ಬೆನ್ನಿಂದೆ ನಿಡ್ತೀನಿ. ನಿನ್ನ ಸಂಹಾರಕ್ಕೆ ಹುಟ್ಟಿದ ಕಣ ಈ ಮಾರ್ಕಂಡೇಯ.
I think the seeds for this film were sown way back in 2005 when I was watching a news segment, which I think was a detailed program about this hero of this film star of yesteryears who just released his autobiography, which had a small paragraph about his sexual escapades with his maid. And they went on and on for about an hour, bringing in the maid and questioning her and everything, except for the fact that they didn't question the hero and didn't question anything about the hero. So, and I was wondering what if the maid was alive and what would she have to go through just because of this 1 hour of news segment? Because it obviously is going to make no difference to the hero other than the fact that it's going to sell a lot more copies of his book. But this one paragraph from a 300-page book, which was dragged into a 1 hour news program, not considering the fact that somewhere across the country there's this woman who also is a party to the incident that this hero talks about. So it stayed with me for more than 10 years. And so when I thought of making a short film, that is naturally, it had to be this story.
ಖ್ಯಾತ ಚಿತ್ರನಟ ಶಿವ ಅವರ ಜೀವನ ಚರಿತ್ರೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ದಾಖಲಾದ ಕೆಲವು ಘಟನೆಗಳು ಇದೀಗ ಭಾರೀ ಸಂಚಲನವನ್ನೇ ಮೂಡಿಸಿದೆ. ಈ ಹಿರಿಯ ನಟ ತನ್ನ ಬಾಲ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಲಸದವಳೊಂದಿಗೆ ಅನೈತಿಕ ಸಂಬಂಧ ಹೊಂದಿರುವುದನ್ನ ತನ್ನ
I actually put in a year of preparation for this film. We have done 17 drafts of the film, but now I look back and see that I realize that that's not enough. Okay, and what you have on paper and what you have in mind does not always necessarily translate to a good film. And you have a lot of minute details for the character, which you think you're going to pull off on set. And more often than not, there are 100 things happening on set and you kind of miss those things. So I wish I could go back and work a little more on characterization and see how I'm going to translate that on screen. And we had auditions, and I was very, there is this dialect that the characters speak in the film is a very specific dialect, which is very specific to this one area in Karnataka called Kundapur of say a 40-50 kilometer radius area. It's very specific to that area. I didn't want a professional actor to come all the way from Bangalore, and then because we are doing sync sound, okay, I wanted the dialect to be spot on because I come from that area. And if I do not do justice to the dialect, then it will be wrong on my part. I personally prefer short films a lot more than feature films for now, and that is one area of filmmaking which I think deserves a lot more credit than it is getting here, because there are a lot of things that you can explore, and there are some fantastic foreign short films that I've seen, okay, which while you see that, it makes you feel so little as a filmmaker, makes you feel so small. And those are the films that I'd love to see coming out of India, because there's no dearth of stories here. There are phenomenal stories waiting to be told, and a short film, I think, would be the ideal medium, because considering the commerce and considering the economics of filmmaking, it's going to take a long time for actually, filmmaking to evolve as an art form in India, I think. So short films gives you that liberty, it gives you the liberty of, with a smaller budget, to get into the smaller towns, smaller villages, and tell the actual Indian story.
With the winners announced and another year complete, we sadly finish our time here in Bangalore. But keep that passport up to date, because there are more fantastic films and hidden gems amongst the cities still to be explored next year. Until we see you next time, safe travels.